Welcome back to another episode of Boss Up and Glow Up with Lexi Sample. I'm your host, and you already know by now in this podcast, we are always talking about mental health, how to glow up, and just how to be your best self overall because we are all trying so hard to be the best version of ourselves possible. But sometimes we need a little guidance, and we go through things that we don't always want to talk about. But I think of all these topics that I want to share with you guys, and I try to think of topics that aren't super talked about, but are pretty popular feelings, in my opinion. So I need you to get comfortable with this one, okay? I want to talk about you are not confused, you are just avoiding the truth. Because this idea of I'm confused sounds harmless, it sounds soft, it sounds like you're just trying to figure things out. But what I've realized, not just in my own life, but from talking to you guys, from watching patterns, from literally being in situations where I knew better, you're not confused. You already know the answer. You just don't like the answer. We tell ourselves this lie constantly. When you say, I'm confused, what are you actually doing? You're buying yourself time. You're buying yourself time to stay in the situation a little longer, to keep the person in your life, to avoid making a very difficult decision that you don't want to make. Because confusion keeps you in the middle. And the middle feels like a safe space. Because sometimes you feel like if you admit the truth, now you have to make a difficult decision. Now you have to either accept it and stay, knowing it is what it is, or accept it and leave. And that is uncomfortable. So instead, your brain goes, let's just call it confusion. Because confusion doesn't require action, but clarity and healing does. And I think a lot of you don't realize you're not overwhelmed because it's unclear. You're overwhelmed because it's clear and you're just resisting it. We need to touch on what confusion actually looks like in real life because a lot of times it's not super noticeable, honestly. It's not just a thought, it's a whole behavior pattern. And a lot of times you don't realize that something is a pattern and you start doing like mental fucking gymnastics. You're like, oh, but they didn't text me, but they're so nice and the vibes are so good in person. But they haven't planned anything, but they say they want to see me again. Okay, but he disappears a lot, but when he's here, it feels real, it feels great, the vibes are high. Do you hear how that sounds? Do you hear how exhausting that is? You're constantly trying to balance two realities. One, what you're experiencing, and two, what you wish it meant. Emphasis on wish. Because realistically, this is very loud and clear, but for some reason, you just don't want to accept it. And your brain is trying to merge them into something that feels safe, but they don't match, they don't align. And now you feel confused, but really it's just contradiction. Let me tell you guys about a situation I had. I've had a lot of confusing situations, but I feel like some of you are literally living this right now. There was a guy I was dealing with. And from the outside, it looks like there was potential for it to actually be something great. Like we had chemistry every time we hung out, it just clicked. Like we didn't have to like force a conversation. You know when you have those conversations, maybe like a first date, you kind of like overanalyze what you're about to say and it feels like pressure. Like it didn't feel like that. We had good natural conversations and when we were together, things felt easy. And I held on to that. Like I was clinging to those really good moments that how it felt in person. But the full picture was he was inconsistent. Like there were a few days like we wouldn't speak. And when you're dating somebody, you talk to that person every day. I'm not saying you have to like text me the whole day, but if we are building a relationship, I expect to hear from you every single day. And that's just the bare minimum. And there were days I would go without speaking to this person because he didn't reach out. It was inconsistency. But then out of the blue, I would get a text, hey, miss you, wanna come over? Like things like that. And he wasn't really planning dates. It was more of a like, oh, I miss you, like come over, let's like have a drink, let's just hang out. Like it was never like, oh, let's go do something. Let's go to like an arcade or let's go to the beach. It wasn't anything like that. It was always going to his place. And he would just go quiet sometimes. Like we would hang out and then I wouldn't hear from him for days. And then he would come back like nothing fucking happened. And instead of saying, this is not what I want, I just stayed in this loop of, oh, I'm just confused. This situation's confusing. And then I would sit there replaying all of the good moments, like the good conversations we had, and that the vibes felt so natural and good when we were together. And those are the things I would remember, but I wouldn't remember the times where he wasn't texting me or checking in or planning anything. I would be like, oh, do you remember the night we stayed up just like talking about everything? Remember how he held me? Remember how he said he liked me? Emphasis on said. Just because someone says they like you doesn't mean they actually do. Because if they actually like you, you'll see it in actions. And this is where I done fucked up, okay? And I made those moments, those teeny tiny moments that don't really matter much, mean more than the overall pattern, which is the biggest thing. And that is where I fucked up, okay? Because I was not confused. I was selectively focusing on certain moments. And I don't get it. Like, we romanticize mixed signals for some reason. And this is kind of where it gets a little psychological because you might be thinking, why the fuck do I keep doing this? Why do I keep getting myself into these same situations and same patterns over and over and over when I know that's not what I want? I know it deep down, but why do I keep falling for the same situations? Because mixed signals feel intense. And a lot of times, intensity feels like chemistry and connection, but it is not. It's inconsistency. And inconsistency creates dopamine spikes. Your brain is now like, oh my God, wait, when am I gonna hear from him again? Wait, what is he gonna say next? When is he gonna reach out to me to hang out? When's he gonna hit me up to hang out? And now it's addictive. You are addicted to this feeling, and it's not a good feeling. It may feel good when you're with the person, but when you're not with the person, it's just anxiety. Like you are anxious every second about when they're gonna reach out to you, when they're gonna ask you to hang out. So now when you say, I'm confused, you're not confused. You're hooked. It's like a drug, you guys. When you are in these kind of situations, it's kind of the same part of your brain that gets you addicted on drugs. Like it really is because you are chasing this dopamine spike that is a negative dopamine spike. Let's walk through a scenario. Let's role play here, okay? You go over someone's house, you guys fuck, and then you cuddle, and then you talk all night long. You talk all night. You feel really close to this person. And in this moment, it feels real, real as fuck. You're having great conversations. Everything feels so good. And this person makes you really feel seen and makes you feel like they really like you. And you're like, wait, this isn't just casual, is it? Because cuddling adds an emotional confusion. I almost said connection there, but I stopped myself because it ain't connection, it's confusion. And let's be honest, you're gonna go home after that. A lot of times, I mean, maybe you will stay the night, but you go home eventually, okay? You wake up, you check your phone, nada, nothing, zilch. And now your brain starts to say, wait, what is this? What does this mean? Was last night not what I thought? Are they going to hit me up later? Should I say something? Should I reach out? And that feeling is not confusion. You're going to say you're confused, but you're not. That is your reality not matching your expectations. Because the truth is, if someone is consistent, you're not going to wake up questioning it. You just know. If it's meant for you, you're going to know. You're not going to be confused or stressed out about the situation. And your body already knows. And this is something I wish I understood earlier because your body always reacts before your mind processes. That anxious feeling That is data that you need to remember. That pit in your stomach, that's information that you need to remember. That urge to check your phone every 2 seconds, that's not you being crazy. That is your nervous system saying, this is not stable. This is not good. But instead of listening to your body, you try to maybe like get your way out of it. You try to overanalyze and over explain things instead of just observing. Because your body always knows everything before you do. It's kind of like when you're sick. When you start to get sick, before you actually feel sick, it's like, oh, I'm starting to get a little headache. Maybe I'm a little stuffy now. I have a pain in my stomach. And then you're full blown sick the next day. It's like that. Your body knows and it's trying to warn you before things get too bad. There are some hard truths that you keep ignoring, and I need you to just listen and not argue. If they wanted to, they would. If they're inconsistent, that is the answer. If you feel confused, it's because the behavior is inconsistent. If you're questioning your worth, that situation is not aligned. If you feel more anxious than you feel calm and relaxed, that is your answer. Like, I need you to stop looking for hidden meanings and hidden messages. The surface is literally the truth. The truth is right on the surface. Why are you not listening to it? Why are you trying to make it something it's not? There is a real reason why you stay. And this is the part that people don't like to admit. Because this is so common, you guys. You stay because it feels familiar. I almost said sometimes, but no, that's why you're staying, because it's comfy, it's familiar to you. If you're used to inconsistency, emotional unavailability, and chasing validation, maybe it's from your childhood. Maybe you have like mommy and daddy issues. I have daddy issues. That's probably why I pick shitty men. Or maybe you just have a history of dating shitty men, and now a good man is not comfy for you, and vice versa. If you're used to like not great girls and you have a good girl, that's uncomfortable. You're going to do the same thing. It goes both fucking ways. I'm only kind of saying like men because I'm a girl, so that's my experience. But I don't want you to think I'm only targeting men. It goes both ways, okay? Calm feels boring. Consistency feels odd. It feels fucking weird. And healthy relationships feel scary and unfamiliar. So you go back to what feels like home. And even if that home is chaos. And now every time you ignore the truth, you lose something. And it's not always super obvious right away, but over time, you lose time you could have spent in peace, energy you could have invested in yourself, or opportunities to meet someone that actually aligns with your values. And the biggest one, you start losing yourself because deep down, you knew. And I have been there. I have lost myself in relationships before, and it does not look pretty at all. It's stressful. It's sad. I was doing things that I wouldn't normally do if I had myself. And you don't want that. That is not a healthy and positive way to live, because if you start losing yourself, you lose the trust in yourself as well. And now anything you say or pick, you don't feel like it's valid because you have let yourself down so many times. Because you know, and you knew deep down that this person wasn't good for you, and you ignored it. And all that is going to build up to pent up aggression towards yourself. Honestly, you might start to resent yourself or people as a whole. And like, I struggled with that for a while. I started to, I mean, I still kind of do, like, hate all men, but like, that's a whole nother topic because it's really hard once you've been let down so many times. It's really hard to get back out there. Like, I'm going to speak from my perspective. I've been let down so many times in relationships, and I'm like out there trying to date again. I'm like putting myself out there. I'm on dating apps, and it sucks. It's hard, and I keep getting fucking let down. It's like nobody is showing up because I'm not finding the right people. And I just keep getting let down after let down after let down. And it's just kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Discouraging. It's really fucking sucks. It's really hard. Like, dating in 2026 is not easy because I've been used to so many negative patterns. It's really hard to pick out the good patterns. And We talk about glow ups here all the time, and I want you to shift this into your glow up moment because the real glow up happens when you stop asking, what do they mean? Like, why are they saying this like this? And you start asking, what am I tolerating? And that question will change your life. What are you willing to tolerate? Because now it's not about decoding what they're trying to say and just trying to like read in between the lines. No, the message is there. It's loud and clear. Okay. This is about understanding you. Now, this is what you're going to do instead. Next time you feel confused, you're going to pause. You're not going to reach out. You're not going to spiral. Just ask and think like, what are the facts? Not what the feelings are. I don't want to know about the feelings, not the potential. We don't give a fuck about potential, just facts. That's all we give a fuck about. And then ask yourself this, if this never changed, would I be happy? And that answer is your truth. If someone is inconsistent and only kind of hitting you up when it's convenient for them, are you going to be happy if that is your long term and if that is the person you marry? Will you be happy? And if the answer is no, fucking get out of there. Okay. So, yeah, you are not confused. You are just avoiding the truth and the reality. And I say that with love because I have been that girl. I have been the one that was saying I was confused all the time, but I wasn't. I just didn't want to realize that this person was just not for me. I wanted that person so bad for some godforsaken reason. I was avoiding the facts, the inconsistencies, and I just would tell myself, oh, they're just a confusing person. Mm-mm. Nope. They just don't have the same values as you do. And it's a hard pill to swallow because you really have hope and potential for this person, but stop falling in love with potential. You need to start falling in love with people who actually align with you and have the same values as you because you will never truly be happy if you keep settling for less than you want and if you keep on settling for this shit because you know what you want and you shouldn't have to settle. You shouldn't have to change what you want for somebody else because then you're never going to be happy. Maybe you'll be happy at first because you're like, "Oh, yay, this person's kind of staying with me. We're getting somewhere." No, we're not getting anywhere because you had to lessen yourself for this person. You had to change your values to be with this person. You had to settle for less than you deserve to have this person in your life. No, yay. You are settling and you're not going to be happy if you stay with this person in the long run. Okay? Now, once you stop avoiding the truth, you're going to move different. You're going to stop chasing people. You're going to stop chasing for answers. You're going to stop overthinking and overanalyzing every situation, every text message, every word this person says. And you're going to stop settling for less than you fucking deserve. And then you start to choose peace over potential because potential does not mean shit, okay? Happiness and peace is the real winner. And that is also the real glow up, okay? I'm sorry I had to be a little cutthroat for you guys today, but I want you to get that through your head because I needed somebody to drill that in my thick skull, okay, back in the day. I want to thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of Boss Up and Glow Up. I hope this made you realize that you may be avoiding the truth and you're not actually confused. So if you are in this situation, we got to get out of it, okay? Because I've been there, done that, and I've been in that way too long. And now once I got out of my situation, I've never been fucking happier. And now that I'm trying to date, I am not settling for less than I deserve. Any little thing I don't like, bye, see ya. Not fucking doing that because I'm not putting myself in that situation again, and neither are you. Okay? Thank you so much for listening. I love you so, so, so much, and I hope this helps you. See you next week.